What's up, everyone? I'm Sergeant First Class Justin Morelli coming at you live from U.S. Army New England, and today I bring to you another live episode of Trivia Tuesday. This is in fact our 7th episode. I can't tell you how excited I am to have made it this far. Never did I imagine that 7 weeks ago we would create something and we would have so many people turn out weekly to come and play with us. It's been a lot of fun for me creating these questions and bringing them all to you so that you can learn something. To fill you in a little bit on what we have going on. So right now, for those of you that are first-time viewers, if you're just tuning in right now for the first time, you will need 2 devices to play this game. So obviously you're watching us on YouTube, and then if you use your phone or a tablet and go to Kahoot.it and enter in the code 1180756, and I say that again, it is 1180756, you will be able to play along and potentially win prizes. So for those of you that haven't played before, as I said initially, I am Sergeant First Class Justin Morelli, and I am a virtual recruiter with the United States Army New England. And initially, I have served in the Army as a 25 Victor or a 25 Zulu, which is better known as a combat camera operator or a visual information chief. And so the Army has employed me to travel around the world, jump out of helicopters, rappel out of airplanes, take pictures and make movies, and I absolutely love what I do. So today, I am bringing to you some information about not just the United States of America or the United States Army, but also about New England, because this is where I'm from. So I'm so happy to be back. Right now we have 13 players that have jumped on, so I'm going to switch back over to the screen real quick so you can all see that code if you are watching on YouTube and you want to see it one more time before we go live. It is 1180756, and let's see how many players we can get logged on today, because obviously the more players the better. It just makes it that much more exciting. For those that finish in first place, there will be obviously one winner, and that winner will go home with a $20 Amazon gift card today. And then second place will be a $15 Amazon gift card. So with that being said, please pass the word and get any last minute players that might want to come on and try to win some prizes. We're looking forward to having them. It's been super exciting. So I'm going to switch back off the screen real quick here. So a couple rules. Obviously, no cheating. Integrity is one of the Army values, so don't be using Google to try to look up the answers. You either know the answer or you don't. The faster that you answer the question with Kahoot, the more points you get. So there are some questions that are going to be weighted double points because they are more challenging and more difficult. And overall, yeah, it's a great time. You know, if you aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, then just listen in and I'll explain some of the background and give you a bit of a history lesson while we're at it. So it's a lot of fun. We just dropped down to 12 players. Looks like a couple people are having some connection issues, and that is, just to give you some fair warning, that is something that we have to deal with, obviously, during the times of social distancing. Sometimes players fall off because they don't get a clear connection, or Kahoot crashes on them, or whatever it might be. And so with that, unfortunately, this is what we're doing. This is the best we got for now. And so I think with that being said, we got 12 players, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So let's have some fun. All right, so first things first. This is episode 7, as we said, and we're starting in 3, 2, 1. So we're going to open up with a slide real quick just to let you know that this is, in fact, American history. So go ahead and, we're going to ask that first question. So which lawyer defended the British soldiers responsible for the Boston Massacre? Was it A, Thomas Jefferson, B, John Adams, C, Robert Livingston Jr., or D, Roger Sherman? We got 2 answers in so far. We got 45 seconds remaining, so get those answers in as quick as you can. For those of you that have seen several episodes so far as we've played along, there's always 1 or 2 questions about the Boston Massacre or the Tea Party, you know, some of those things that we hold near and dear to our heart because they were the start of the revolution for our whole country, and Bostonians are very proud of that fact. So we got 20 seconds remaining, and we got 11 answers in, so there's one more answer out there. I'm not going to give you a full countdown this week, so just so you know, get that last answer in or else you're going to get 0 points, and we're going to move on right now. All right, so we got 5 with the correct answer, and it is in fact John Adams. So the second president of the United States of America started out as a lawyer. He was educated in Harvard, and you know, just so much that he did as a man. You know, not just a founding father, not a signer of the Declaration of Independence. You know, not just one of the sons of liberty, but just everything that he did. I mean, just an incredible person overall, and did so much for our country as one of the founding fathers. But yes, initially he did defend the British soldiers that were responsible for the Boston Massacre, and he did it fairly well, actually. Even though his you know, he sympathized with them or understood, and as a lawyer took on that case to defend them as fairly as possible, despite having disagreed with the act. So let's check out that leaderboard and see how we're doing. So we got Eurobus in first place right now with 961. Peter's right behind, not too far back. So be a little bit faster on that answering device, Peter, and you might catch him before you know it. So Quiz on My Face is back with 832. Hoya Kane down in fourth place. She's one of the returning top contenders. And the third J on that leaderboard. So great job, guys. You guys are doing awesome so far. As you know, there are 15 questions. So the first 5 will be American history. And let's move on to the next question. All right. The first racially integrated unit in the Continental Army was from this state. Was it A, Massachusetts, B, Maine, C, Connecticut, or D, Rhode Island? You got 50 seconds remaining, so get those answers in as fast as you can. Some of you may remember a similar question to this from weeks past. This one is different. I just don't want you to be thrown off by it. It was the first racially integrated unit, and that is the key phrase there. So something that we're proud of in the Army is the fact that we integrated before, you know, much of the rest of society. And you know, what we always say in the Army is that we don't see color, we see the color green, because that's what we all wear. So your background doesn't matter. What matters is that we're all soldiers, and we're all you know, doing what we can to make a positive difference in the world for our country. So with that being said, we're gonna move on. So we got 6 with the correct answer. So yes, it was in fact Rhode Island. So the 1st Rhode Island Regiment, also known as Barnum's Regiment or the Black Regiment. So typically it was made up of African Americans, sometimes free men, but other times slaves that actually were basically, the Continental Army was paying slave owners for slaves' freedom so that they could actually join the Continental Army and fight. And Congress had a quota, so Rhode Island, being such a small state, was having a hard time meeting that quota. So they were the first ones to really integrate and figure out a way to move forward. So it was Native Americans, you know, African Americans, Caucasians. It didn't matter your racial, ethnic background. Didn't matter, you know, your religious background. What mattered was fighting for the independence of the United States of America, and that is something that's pretty impressive. So with that being said, let's check out the leaderboard and see how people are doing. So Eurobus drops down, but 3rd J jumps into 1st, and she is crushing it right now. Hoya Kane jumps up into 2nd. Eurobus drops down to 3rd. I Call Middle is on the leaderboard. Congratulations. And Buttercup, you're in 5th. So Outlaw is the highest climber. He's up 3 places, but you guys are definitely doing awesome. Can't wait to see how this game unfolds, because already we're seeing quite a bit as this plays out. So stay steady and fast on those fingers, and make sure you're getting in your answers as quick as you can. And with that being said, let's go on to the next question. So, this French hero from the American Revolution named his son after George Washington. Was it A, Johann de Cobb, B, Charles de Gaulle, C, Thomas Alexander Dumas, or D, Marquis de Lafayette? And we got 4 answers in so far with 45 seconds remaining. So take your time and think about it. No points is not as good as some points. So make sure you, if you're going to take a guess at it, try to make it as educated as you can. We got 9 answers in, 10 answers now. So I think we're going to cut it off. We're almost done there. So we're going to cut it off with 15 seconds remaining. So I'm going to give you a quick countdown. We're going to go with 5. Oh, okay. All answers are in. All right. So yeah, great job. 12 of you got that right. So it was in fact the Marquis de Lafayette, who is an absolutely fascinating man. If you haven't learned about him, for one, he was born with like 9 names, and as he once said, he was baptized like a Spaniard, and he was named after every saint that they could possibly fit into a name so that they would protect him in battle. But being a French aristocrat, he originally had no real military experience. And one day, while meeting with King George's brother at a dinner, King George's brother actually sympathized with the American movement for independence. And it inspired Lafayette so much that he decided to get onto a ship, head over to the United States of America, and with no military experience, he worked his way up, became a major general at the age of 19. He was in fact one of Washington's most trusted leaders, and he did so much for us overall as a country. He is in fact a hero from the American Revolution, and so for that, I just thought pretty incredible. So let's check out the leaderboard, see how people are doing. So 3rd J locks it in there at 26:01. I Call Middle jumps up to 2nd place. So you guys are definitely doing really well. Buttercup and Eurobus, Peter jumps up as well. And then Mojo Man is the highest climber. So you guys are all doing a great job. I can't even say how impressed I am because you guys are really getting quick on those answers. So with that being said, let's move on to the next question. Keep it coming. All right, this one's a ×2. So which country was the first to recognize the United States of America as its own country? Was it A, France, B, Tunisia, C, Morocco, or D, Germany? So for those of you that are familiar, the United States of America, obviously declared independence. And it took some time for the rest of the world to catch up and actually recognize us as our own country. But this one country, this little country, actually recognized us very early on. So, okay, wow. We got 4 with the correct answer, and the correct answer is in fact Morocco. It is not France. So the French, of course, did help us gain our independence, but they themselves didn't even recognize us right away. So it was Morocco who we were, Morocco was actually the first country that the Americans were trading with at that time. And they recognized our independence very early on in 1777, which was long before we'd even won our actual independence. So pretty cool. We were sending over merchant vessels to do trading and business with the Moroccans, and I just thought that was pretty interesting that they were the first to recognize us. So with that being said, let's check out the leaderboard and see how we're doing. All right, so Buttercup jumps up into 1st place, and Wonder Woman is in 2nd. Outlaws in 3rd, Hoya Kane in 4th, and the 3rd J drops down to 5th place. So Wonder Woman has the highest answer streak of 3 so far, so great job to her. Let's see if I Call Middle and 3rd J can make a comeback. And I don't know what happened to Eurobus, but Eurobus I think is probably one of those sleepers we got to look out for. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, a bake sale organized by Sarah Josepha Hale raised $30,000 to build this granite monument. Was it A, the Washington Monument, B, Bunker Hill Monument, C, the Revolutionary War Monument, or D, the Minuteman statue? So for those of you that don't know, Sarah Josepha Hale is widely considered to be the author of Mary Had a Little Lamb. And she was a Bostonian that got the bright idea after seeing that this monument had struggled and wasn't being built in a timely manner. She raised the remainder of that money to finish the monument. Okay, all the answers are in. So we got 8 with the correct answer. It is in fact the Bunker Hill Monument. And as I said, so Miss Hale, she raised that money through a bake sale, which, you know, I just thought was incredible. The Marquis de Lafayette actually laid the cornerstone to the Bunker Hill Monument initially, and on the 50th anniversary of the Battle of Bunker Hill. Bunker Hill was just, it's one of those battles that technically is considered a loss for the Continental Army because we did give up the ground that we were fighting over. However, it was the first battle that showed that the Continentals could stand toe-to-toe with the British. They inflicted 2,000 casualties on the British Army versus our 400. And so overall, in the grand scheme of things, it was more or less a win for us, even though we ended up giving up that ground and the Brits did remain in Charlestown. But so the Marquis de Lafayette laid the cornerstone on the 50th anniversary. Interesting little side note about that. The Marquis de Lafayette, you know, as I said in the previous question, was a French aristocrat, but he wanted to be buried under both American and French soil. And so his son at the 50th anniversary actually took some of the soil from the Bunker Hill site, and that is in fact laid on top of the Marquis de Lafayette on his grave in France. So he was in fact buried under both American and French soil. So I just thought that was pretty interesting, and that monument to be finished by a bake sale, pretty awesome. All right, let's check out the leaderboard. So we got Outlaw jumping up into second place, but Buttercup locks it in first still. Wonder Woman drops down to third, Hoya Cane's in fourth, and I Call Middle is hanging on in fifth. So you guys are all doing awesome out there, and let's keep on going here. Let's go on to the next question. So, all right. Oh, not the next question yet, just letting you know right now that we're going to go into New England trivia. So we're off the American Revolution and some of that American history, and let's go ahead and go to that next question. So known as the state hero of Connecticut, this New Englander was one of the first American spies of the Revolutionary War. Was it A, Nathan Hale, B, Benjamin Talmadge, C, Thomas Knowlton, or D, Abraham Woodhull? So 50 seconds remaining. We got 4 answers in. Get those answers in as quick as you can. Now, this is a little bit of a mix because it's a modern day trivia question, because the state of Connecticut still lists this person as their state hero, but it does in fact give the throwback to the Revolutionary War. So we got 11 answers in, 12 answers now. We're going to go ahead at 20 seconds and we're going to cut it off. So let's go ahead and see who got it right. So we got 6 with the correct answer, and it is in fact Nathan Hale. So Nathan Hale was a member of Knowlton's Rangers, and he, a native of Connecticut, went on a secret mission to go gain intelligence on the British Army in New York. Unfortunately, he was captured, and for those of you that don't know, when he was actually hanged, his last words, had you not heard this before, are, "My only regret is that I have but one life to give from my country." And so, those words have become well known throughout American history. And Nathan Hale, being from Connecticut, I wanted to highlight some of that. So pretty interesting stuff. Let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard and see how we're doing. So Buttercup locks it in still in first place. Wonder Woman is in a close second place, and Outlaw is in third. So Hoya Cane stays steady in fourth place, and I Call Middle's in fifth. So Buttercup has a streak with 5 correct answers in a row. So let's see who can dethrone Buttercup. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, this New England beverage flavored with gentian root was among the first mass-produced soft drinks in the United States. Was it A, Dr. Pepper, B, Barks Root Beer, C, Moxie, or D, A&W Root Beer? So we have 45 seconds remaining, and we got 4 answers in. For those of you New Englanders out there, you might have heard of this before. It is not quite as popular as it once was. It used to be quite popular, but it hasn't quite hung on. But you can still pick it up at your local grocery store. And some of them, some New Englanders still consider it one of their favorites. So it's definitely an acquired taste. If you haven't tried it before, you should. We got 12 answers in with 20 seconds remaining, and I think we're going to go ahead and move on to see who got this answer correct. So, all right, we got 10 with the correct answer. So yes, it is in fact Moxie. And Moxie was created by a Mainer, and actually it was created, well, it was invented by a Mainer and then created in Lowell, Massachusetts, and distributed all throughout. You can still pick it up at the local grocery store. Like I said, I think there's several bottling plants still around the country, one in Pennsylvania and a couple here in New England. So definitely acquired taste, but go check it out. Ted Williams endorsed it from way back in the day, so I mean, it must be pretty good. All right, with that being said, let's check out the leaderboard here. So Buttercup stays locked in first place. Whoever that is, they are doing great. Wonder Woman in second, Outlaw in third, Eurobus jumps up to fourth place, and I Call Middle keeps it steady in fifth. So Army Mom right now is the highest climber. She's up 4 places, so great job to her. You guys are all doing awesome. I'm very impressed with how much you know. And with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, so what New England state boasts the country's oldest public school? Was it A, Connecticut, B, Rhode Island, B, Massachusetts, or D, Maine? All right, so we got 45 seconds remaining with 5 correct answers. So A, Connecticut, B, Rhode Island, C, Massachusetts, or D, Maine. Which one is it going to be? All right, and we have 13 answers in right now, so 25 seconds remaining. I think we're going to go ahead and give a 10-second countdown, so I'm going to say 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we got 10 with the correct answer, and it is in fact Massachusetts, because so much got its start in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is, can claim a lot of firsts, that's for sure. But Boston Latin School was the first public school, started in 1635. For young boys at the time, they could go to that school and get an education. So it's still in existence today. It's still a great school. And I just thought that was an interesting fact to bring you, that Massachusetts claims yet another first. So with that being said, let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard. And we got Buttercup staying steady in first place with Wonder Woman right behind. Outlaw's on fire right now. So with the highest answer streak of 7, whoever Outlaw is, you are crushing it. So keep up the good work. Eurobus stays in 4th, and I Call Middle stays in 5th. So let's see who else can jump up. I know the Army Mom was the highest climber last time. She might make the leaderboard here any minute. I Call Middle sitting steady in 5th. Let's see if you can jump up into one of the top 3. And Buttercup, Wonder Woman, and Outlaw, they are the ones to knock down in the top 3 positions. So anybody out there that thinks that they can challenge them, by all means, let's see what you got. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, this is question 11. So it's a ×2, and is Finding Nemo, Toy Story, and Monsters, Inc. were all written by this Rockport, Massachusetts native. Was it A, Joss Whedon, B, Andrew Stanton, C, Joel Cohen, or D, Alex Sokolow? I got 3 answers in so far, with about 40 seconds remaining. This is a tough one, but those of you that know Rockport might know who this gentleman was. He works for Pixar. He's done quite a bit. Not just co-wrote or wrote some of these stories, but actually directed. He's done voiceovers in them and some voice acting as well. So we have 15 seconds remaining or so with 12 answers in. I'm going to give you a quick 5-second countdown. So let's go with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom. All right. So 5 of you got the correct answer there with Andrew Stanton. So he is in fact a Rockport native, works at Pixar, and responsible for co-writing all the Toy Story movies, Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc., several others. WALL-E, I don't know if you guys have seen that one, but it's a great one. I'm a big fan of Pixar. I'm a big fan of kids movies because how can you not be? They're just fun. But yeah, just he, creative guy, and I always like to highlight that, especially when it's a Massachusetts native. So Rockport native Andrew Stanton, pretty cool. So let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard, see how we're doing. I don't know if anyone's dropped down. Oh, and Wonder Woman climbs into the first place position right now with 10,419 points. Outlaw jumps up to second, and Buttercup drops down to third. So it happened, ladies and gentlemen. The dethroning is taking place as we get further along in the game. And Third J jumps up into fourth with Mojo Man right behind. So awesome job to you guys. I'm impressed. I don't know what happened to Hoya Kane or I Call Middle, as well as Eurobus. I'm keeping an eye out for you guys. So Army Mom, wherever you are out there, I hope to see you on the top 5 here soon too. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. So what is the official state treat of Maine? And this is question 12, ladies and gentlemen. Is it A, blueberry pie, B, whoopie pie, C, oatmeal cranberry cookies, or D, Indian pudding? So we got 3 answers in so far. The beautiful state of Maine is known for a lot of things, but one of the key things that I want you to think about here is that it's the state treat. The state treat differs slightly from the state dessert. So just with that being said, we have 10 answers in with about 30 seconds remaining. 12 answers, 13. Okay, we're making a comeback here. We are climbing high. So I'm going to give you a countdown, and I'm going to give you a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So 9 got that right, and it is in fact the whoopie pie. Like I said, not to be confused with the state dessert, which is in fact blueberry pie, because most of the country's blueberries come from Maine. And for those of you that have been to Maine before, there's quite a few wild blueberries around. But it is in fact whoopie pies, and whoopie pies go by a lot of different names, but generally that, chocolate cake type of outer shell with a creamy filling, it's something that everyone loves, and now they're all over the country, but that is in fact Maine's official state treat. So with that being said, let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard. We got Wonder Woman still in first place, Outlaw still in second place, Buttercup up into third. The Third J is still on fire right now, and she's not too far back, and I Call Middle is back on the board. So Third J is making a comeback with three in a row. You guys are definitely doing great. I can't say how impressed I am with all of this. Your knowledge impresses me for sure, but let's go ahead and move on to the next question and see who battles this out. All right, so we're moving on to U.S. Army facts, and yes, as you all know, for those of you that have played before in the past, I like to highlight some of the great things that the Army has done and continues to do. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. So what was the nickname of female switchboard operators of World War I? Were they A, Switchboard Sandy, B, Hello Girls, C, Pershing's Gals, or D, Operation Call Home? We've got 3 answers in so far. Seven answers in so far with about 35 seconds remaining. So the switchboard operators of World War I, they're part of the U.S. Army Signal Corps. And for those of you that have played in previous episodes, you all know that I like to highlight some of the Signal Corps' achievements, being that I am in fact a proud signaleer myself. So we got 13 answers in right now. And I think we're going to go ahead and give it a countdown with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so 9 got the correct answer with the Hello Girls. So the Hello Girls, they were not technically soldiers, but they were switchboard operators that were brought into the United States Army Signal Corps, and they patched people through so that everyone could continue to communicate. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. They were started by General Pershing. So Pershing, if those of you that know anything about Pershing's history, you might have thought that they were in fact Pershing's gals, but nope, they're in fact the Hello Girls. So with that being said, let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard. And we got Wonder Woman sitting steady in first place with Outlaw right behind. Buttercup locks it in at third. Third J in fourth, and I Call Middle stays in fifth. Staff Sergeant Mejia just hit answer streak number 3, so she's climbing very, very quickly, which is awesome and super impressive. So great job to you, Staff Sergeant Mejia. Keep up the good work. Let's see if you can get up into the top 5. So for all of you that are sitting pretty right now in that top 5, keep on getting those answers correct because people are coming for you. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, what war led to the establishment of the Army Nurse Corps? Was it A, the Revolutionary War, B, the Civil War, C, the Spanish-American War, or D, World War I? So a lot of different things have happened. One of the things, you know, with each war that our country has fought, new things have been born and lessons have been learned, and so much has been, you know, brought about. And you know, as much as war is not a good thing, and no soldier ever prays for war, the truth is that there are certain things that are positive that can come from it, and this is in fact one of those things. So we have 13 answers in so far with 20 seconds remaining. I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we got 6 with the correct answer. It was the Spanish-American War. So in 1901, the Army saw a need. So the Spanish-American War, just an interesting war overall. So there was actually more casualties from the Spanish-American War that were caused by disease versus combat. So between yellow fever and all the different things that were going on at that time, soldiers were getting sick. And the Army had a need to have nurses. And so they started the Nurse Corps in 1901, and you know, we've been going strong ever since. So with that being said, you know, big thanks to all of our first responders and all of our healthcare professionals out there, because you know, we truly appreciate what you do, especially in times like right now amidst this pandemic. But the Army Nurse Corps is right there in the thick of it, and they are doing everything they can to continue to support it. They're doing everything they can to continue supporting our country. And yeah, if you are a nurse and you've ever thought about serving, the Army Nurse Corps is a great place for you to be. So with that being said, let's check out the leaderboard. And we got Wonder Woman still in first place, Outlaw in second place, Buttercup in third. Third J locks it in fourth, and I Call Middle stays in fifth. So Buttercup is back in the game with 3 in a row. And let's see what happens here. You guys are doing great. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, U.S. Army Dr. Walter Reed confirmed that yellow fever was spread by A, human-to-human contact, B, poor sanitation, C, mosquitoes, or D, drinking water. So we got 2 answers in so far. Get those answers in as quick as you can. For those of you that have watched episodes previously, some of you know that I did highlight Walter Reed before in the past. He's one of our, you know, doctors that we're definitely proud of historically. The Army has some of the best doctors in the world by far. Some of the medical advancements that have come out from, you know, just the last 20 years alone with the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's just incredible, you know, what it's done for the medical community and the medical professional community. But Walter Reed, back in the day, you know, around the time of the Spanish-American War, realized that there was something going on that was a little bit different. So I'm going to give you a quick countdown with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So the correct answer is mosquitoes. So yes, mosquitoes are what transmitted yellow fever. Initially, it was not confirmed. No one was certain of how it was being spread, and they thought that maybe it was just being spread from person to person. And Walter Reed suspected there was something more to it, so he took a team and they went down to Cuba and they studied it, and they found out, in fact, that it was mosquitoes that were transmitting the disease. So Walter Reed did a lot of great things for the Army back in the day, and that is why we continue to have a medical center named after him that continues to be on the forefront of advancements within the medical community. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question and see that leaderboard first. So Wonder Woman stays locked in at first place, Outlaw in second, Buttercup in third, I Call middle jumps up into fourth, and Third J drops down to fifth. So wow, I Call middle is on the rise. So Wonder Woman has a streak of 12 correct answers. That's pretty unbelievable. I hope that she is not using Google. But then again, she is Wonder Woman, so who knows what she's capable of. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, the U.S. Army has a unit of skeptics that work to play devil's advocate to avoid groupthink. What are they called? Is it A, Red Teamers, B, Rainbow Six, C, the Think Tankers, or D, Men Who Stare at Goats? So we have 3 answers in so far. For those of you that are not sure what groupthink is, it's when everyone thinks alike, then you have no new ideas being brought to the table. So it's always good to have someone out there that, you know, might have an outsider perspective or is doing their best to just think differently, so that you can have that alternate perspective and someone that does play devil's advocate to bring in new ideas. So with that being said, we have 11 answers in so far. I'm going to give you a countdown. I can't remember if this is the last question or not, but we're going to see how it goes. So I think we have one more. And let's go with 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Your time is up, and the correct answer is Red Teamers. So the Red Teamers, they're all graduates of one of our institutions that, you know, is always at the forefront within the United States Army, and their sole job is to just think differently. So when one group of people begins to all think the same, no new ideas are brought to the table. And our Red Teamers, or our Red Cell, that is in fact their sole job. So they're going to think about things just in ways that you might never, you know, they're very off the wall sometimes, but they bring a different perspective to things, and they continue to challenge us. And that's why the U.S. Army remains the best. So with that being said, let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard. And Wonder Woman stays in first place. Outlaw stays in second. Buttercup in third. I Call middle remains in fourth. And Third J stays in fifth. So, all right, with that being said, I think there is one more question remaining. And let's go ahead and move on. So let's go on to the next question. And this is a ×2, so this could be the make it or break it. In 2019, the U.S. Army invented a new type of lithium-ion battery that is made from this. Was it A, water, B, metal oxide, C, carbon, or D, aluminum? So when I say made from this, understand it is fueled by this. So lithium-ion batteries, you know, rely on a chemical reaction, and we got 4 answers in right now with 35 seconds remaining. So that chemical reaction gives the energy that, you know, then goes on to power whatever it is that we're using the batteries for. So 11 answers in with 20 seconds remaining. I'm going to give you guys the full amount of time on this because I want you to make sure you get the correct answer. And it is a ×2, so this really could be the game changer. We might see some of those first 5 drop down and fall off the leaderboard. So go ahead and get that answers, the last few answers in. And we have 3, 2, and 1. Your time is up, ladies and gentlemen, and it is in fact water. So 3 got the correct answer on that. So water. The U.S. Army, each year they publish an article, and Business Insider, a lot of different media organizations actually highlight some of the top advancements that the Army brings about. And so over the last few years, some of the things that I've been looking at the Army has brought to the table, it's just incredible. I mean, literally, you can take water, drop in a tablet, and that could be a way to power things. The lithium-ion batteries are relying on water to have that chemical reaction. So they are in fact heat-proof, they're fireproof, and they don't get affected the same as for some of you that might remember those lithium-ion batteries that were exploding or overheating back in the day. So this is a total game changer for how things are powered, and the Army is in fact using those for soldiers because they are safe for use. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that I believe concludes it. So let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard. It is going to get interesting. Oh my goodness, we got third place at Outlaw. So I think Outlaw dropped down there. Second place is Wonder Woman, so she drops down. And who is in first place? Ooh, Buttercup rises back up. So great job to you guys. Wow, that is a really close game when you look at it. Pretty awesome. I know that wasn't easy, but I hope you all had a lot of fun. Just to be honest and real with you, I really enjoy doing this. It's something that, you know, I find to be fun, you know, looking all these questions up. If you have any suggestions or any tips for places to look for future trivia questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm not difficult to find, or you can always reach out to U.S. Army New England and make some suggestions. Also, I want to issue this challenge. If you know people that might like trivia, if you know any history teachers or history buffs or just students out there that might want to challenge their history teacher and watch their history teacher get stumped by playing with us each Trivia Tuesday, please tag them, you know, share the video with them and get them on board. Because the truth of the matter is that the more people involved, the more fun this remains. So I want this to continue, and I want to keep bringing this all to you weekly. So in order to do so, we need to have, you know, as many people turning out as possible each week. So with that being said, congratulations again to Buttercup. You get that $20 Amazon gift card, and Wonder Woman in second place, you're going to get that $15 Amazon gift card. So Buttercup, go ahead, and Wonder Woman both, please reach out. For those of you that are interacting in the comments, you can interact with the live chat, and Staff Sergeant Jones is manning that right now, and we'll be able to respond to you. So great job, way to go everyone. Reach out, please get that information over so we can get you your prizes. Outlaw, better luck next time. Maybe you can place in the top 2 and get that special prize. But thanks again so much for tuning in this week. I can't thank you enough for giving me your time. I know that as the world opens back up, many people are getting back out there and they're not wanting to stay glued to their computers. But please tune back in again next week. We're going to keep doing this for at least a little while longer, and we look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meanwhile, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you again soon.